Hi, everyone. This is Pastor Suzette with day 52 of 90, the holy awe of his willing work. Beloved, above all things, I want you to prosper and to be in health, even as your soul prospers. The holy awe of his willing work. Philippians chapter 2, verse 11 to 13 says that every tongue should confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. Therefore, my beloved, as you've always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling, for it is God who works in you both to will and to do for his good pleasure. There's a holy weight that settles on us when we read these words, or there should be, although should's a religious word, but I think sometimes we become so familiar with the word, we kind of read it without really allowing the weight of it to settle on our hearts. It's a weight that's rich with reverence and glory. Paul reminds us that the one we call Lord is not merely a title holder. He is the exalted Christ before whom every single knee will bow and every tongue will one day confess. That reality alone is enough to still our hearts and awaken awe within us. But then Paul moves from the majesty of Christ to the responsibility of the believer. He shifts from the cosmic confession of the nations to the quiet obedience of the saints. Paul is saying, because Jesus is Lord, because he holds all authority, because at his name every knee will bow and every tongue will confess. Live like your salvation is holy and treat your transformation into a kingdom citizen with reverent seriousness. And then he adds these words that we often rush past: with fear and trembling. Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. And again, he's not speaking of terror. He's speaking of reverence, of that holy awe, of that heart revelation that recognizes that God himself is at work in me. Imagine that. The Ancient of Days, the one who rules the cosmos, is working inside you, not as a distant observer, but as an active, present, willing partner. And this reverence isn't about self-striving. It's not about achieving spiritual perfection through gritted teeth. It's the apostolic heart of the passage is that the only reason you can work out what God requires is because God is working within you. You move because he moves you. You desire him because he planted the desire in your heart. You obey because it's his grace that strengthens your yes. The fear and the trembling we carry is not of failing. It's the fear of forgetting who is doing the work, of being familiar or casual with who is doing the work within. And this is where the devotional becomes deeply personal, because every time you forgive, wouldn't it be easier to hold a grudge? Every time you choose purity over compromise, every time you rise early to pray, open the word, bless a client, show integrity in business, or reach out to someone, every time you silence your flesh and yield to the Spirit, you are not just making a choice. You are responding to God's divine activity inside you. Reverence means recognizing that God's hand is on who you are becoming. It means living with a constant awareness that the Holy One is shaping you for his pleasure and his glory. And here's the apostolic charge. Don't treat lightly what God is doing deeply. Don't treat casually what God is working intentionally. Your salvation, your sanctification, your calling, your obedience, you are sacred ground. Every time you whisper, yes, it carries eternal weight. Every step of obedience is a response to God's inner work. Every moment of surrender reveals that Christ truly is Lord, not only in heaven, but in you. So today, walk slowly, speak thoughtfully, obey quickly, and honor the one who works in you, both to will and to do, of his good pleasure. Let our life be the place where heaven sees that Jesus Christ is Lord, not just in confession, but in conduct, character, and calling. Philippians chapter 2, verses 11 to 13, that every tongue should confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. Therefore, my beloved, as you have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence. Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling, for it is God who works in you both to will and to do for his good pleasure. God bless.